Support has always been a big focus for us at CloseBot. Ever since I started CloseBot in November 2022, I was really close to all of our customers. At that time, it was more like 5 or 10 customers. So I was able to be close with all of them, get feedback, and iterate really quickly. And I saw how important this was to the product because as other companies were focusing on building in a silo away from their customers, I was super close to the customers and could build something they actually wanted. Now, over the years, things have changed a lot. We don't just have 5 or 10 users anymore. We have thousands of users. And that's changed how we've had to do support. But we've wanted to find a way to still stay close to the users so we could take advantage of this feedback. So let me give you a breakdown of different stages of our support journey, what we did right and what we did wrong. And if I could go back, what I would have done at each of these points to help alleviate a lot of stress on both myself and our team. So, like I mentioned at the start, it was just me doing support. I was getting like 1 to 10 support requests a week, and I was easily able to handle these via email with still coding and building the operations of the business, finance, all the things it takes to run a business. I was able to do all of that and manage my email, which was support. And if I could do this all over again, I would have done this part the exact same way. I wouldn't have worried about implementing things like Intercom or Freshdesk because that takes time to implement. And you want to focus as much time in the early days on product and on sales. It takes enough time to do sales and build product that splitting your focus and also building in supplementary pillars, apps like Intercom and Freshdesk, just distract from the core product and getting sales. So I would have done this the exact same way. So as we started to scale, we found product market fit because, like I said, I was close to our users. We were implementing things that our users wanted and quickly fixing issues. We got to a point where we were doing more like 10 to 40 support messages a week. And that's when things started to break down a little bit. It was myself and 3 other people in support. I had myself, Max, and then 2 other support staff in there. And we were all just kind of working chats. We didn't have a ticketing system, and it was just working things as they needed to be done. It was just like, let me grab my phone. It was just like, your message inbox on your phone, just a big chat system. And things would slip through the cracks every once in a while, but for the most part, it wasn't that bad. We switched over to doing things in Intercom at this time. So it wasn't email based. Our whole team of 4, could be in support working together. And this was much better than email because it was quicker and we were all able to work in there together and easily see what other people were working on. Also at this time, since we were now on Intercom, they had this AI support tool. Now, CloseBot is built for lead qualification and booking AI. Intercom is built for support. So their AI is optimized for support scenarios. And implementing their AI support trained on our help docs was able to deflect about 50% of inbound support messages. So that helped as well as having the team help. If I could go back to this time and change things, I would have implemented a ticketing system at this time. There were some instances where we had longer chats that were people waiting for us to do dev work. And with longer chats, people expect a response right away. If you're texting someone and you see they read your text, they're expecting a response. When you transition things over to a ticket-based system, naturally, they don't expect a response as fast. And it's not a big deal if they can see via notification that a fix is in progress or under investigation. So around November 2023, this would have been a year after launching, things were pretty tough for support. We were fielding between 40 and 100 support requests a week. And this chat-based system got to be pretty tough to manage. There were typically like 40 active chats going on in there at a time, and we had 6 people working in there. So we had a bunch of people in there working chats. Things would slip through the cracks. We would realize people had gone days without a response, or things had accidentally been closed by someone else while someone else was working the ticket. We didn't have teams set up. So it was really just everyone working this giant inbox, and it slowly became chaos. With me being CEO, I was still building product, and I was spending a lot of time on content and product, and I didn't spend a lot of time with the support team, even though I was supposed to be their leader. And so we appointed one of our more senior support members, Kyle, as the leader of the team. And this really helped because Kyle was able to spend a lot of his time improving our systems around support. And I was able to spend a lot of my time doing sales and building product. If I could go back to this time, I would have implemented a leader pretty much right away. Probably when we reached like 2 or 3 support members, we should have had a leader at that time, and still waiting waiting at this time when we had 6 full-time support team members. They need guidance. And at this point, it shouldn't be the CEO that's giving them that primary care. Now, let's talk about when we absolutely went bust in our support. We had V2 rolling out in June of 2025. And at the same time, we knew we were going to be acquiring ZappyChat, which would grow our user base and build the number of people that weren't familiar with our product, that were coming into our product all at once. We knew this, so we scaled up to 13 full-time support members. I was not in support at all. We had a level 1 support team, pretty much it. We started implementing a level 2 support team where if the level 1 team didn't know the answer, they could raise to a level 2 team. And that level 2 team was just comprised of about 3 people. Max, one of our devs, Michael, who's head of our HubSpot stuff right now, and then Kyle. And we thought doubling our support staff, more than doubling it, would be fine because we weren't expecting double volume right away. Well, what happened was we got about triple volume. In fact, we saw a spike of almost probably close to 300 inbound messages in a single day, a few days in a row. And this was from a few things. This was from a brand new product that people were not familiar with. So naturally they had questions, and a brand new product. So it had some bugs that we hadn't worked out before it hit production. And there's really no way around releasing a new product and experiencing bugs. That's going to happen. We had scaled up our support team to this size of 13 about a month prior to V2, and we started training them immediately on V2. But it was being built alongside their training. So it was constantly changing as they were being trained on it. And some of the key features that make support easier in V1 weren't yet there in V2. So our level 1 team was left helpless, and they had to escalate almost every new chat that came in. So our team of 13 really turned into a team of 3 level 2 support members fielding so many requests. We didn't have a ticketing system, so many people went days, sometimes even a week, without a response, and they had no idea why. We didn't have adequate trained level 1 team. We didn't have enough office hours. So let's look at what we've spent our time doing over the past 6 weeks to fix this. 1, we established a strong level 2 support team that gets training from our product lead. So the product lead knows exactly how the product works and what's coming down the pipeline, what fixes are coming. So our level 2 team taking training directly from them helps them stay cutting edge. 2, a ticketing system. So finally, I had discussed how I wish I would have done this way sooner. Our ticketing system has helped out drastically. So now level 1 can elevate to level 2, and level 2 can create dev tickets if they find that an issue is a dev problem and not a user issue. 3, we put a hard stop on all new features. We have gone about 6 weeks now just focusing on reliability, trust, stability, and no new features. It's really hard being the founder of a software company, having all of these users that want all of these amazing things that excite me too, to put a stop to those things and say, no, we're focusing on the stability of the product. But it's really paid off for us. We also implemented a ton of office hours. We did this as soon as possible to just alleviate a little bit of the support staff. We knew people were waiting on chats. They were lost in the system. We wanted to give them another way out. So we implemented about 10 hours of office hours calls a week for people to attend if they didn't want to wait for a response to their chat request. And in the meantime, that gave us time to get the level 1 team trained, get our ticketing system dialed in, level 2 team trained, and all the automation set up so that we could have people flow through this environment really seamlessly. Another thing that helped is user studies. We watched people using the platform firsthand, and we watched where they had struggles. We also watched our level 1 team and saw where they had struggles troubleshooting issues. And we've come up with some user interface improvements that aren't feature improvements. They're just updates on the user interface to make it more intuitive to use and more intuitive for users and the level 1 team to troubleshoot issues. We've constantly been updating our documentation. Documentation is huge, but we work in an agile environment. So this means product before documentation. We release the product, documentation comes after. We now have about 70 help docs on V2. And the Intercom AI is trained on all 70 of these help docs. So we've found that it's been able to deflect 55 to 60% of incoming chat requests before even needing a human. So in summary, just know that it takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to make a support system work. And I don't want you guys to feel like I don't care when you message me in Facebook Messenger and Instagram, but I've made a commitment to my team not to respond to support messages in my private channels. And that's because the more I respond to messages there, the more people do that. And then the less they can rely on the team that is put in place and trained to help with all these support questions. So I just wanted to release this and let you guys know that we're putting so much time and energy into supporting you because it's been the foundation for us since the very beginning. Helping out our users, learning what they're struggling with, and implementing a tool that helps alleviate all of their headaches and make them more money. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you go create a free account in CloseBot. And if you are a paid user, use that free chat support, use the office hours, use the help docs, and use the amazing product UI to help guide you in creating amazing AI agents that qualify leads and book appointments. Okay, thanks guys.